Welcome to Toffee TV. It is the Everton News Daily for Friday, the 13th of January 2017. It's happened. Niasse has completed his loan deal to Hull City. He will go on loan until the summer, and then they'll look at the possibility of signing him full time if they avoid the drop. And who knows, he might be fantastic and they might want to sign him anyway. It's been a strange almost 12 months for Niasse, hasn't it? He came in, I wouldn't say in a blaze of glory a year ago, but he came in as our third record signing at the time. And it looked as though, potentially we found someone to go up there alongside Romelu Lukaku. He could play off the left. He was supposedly quite pacey. You check out the goals he scored in the Europa League and in the Russian League, and he looked like he was going to be a decent addition. And then it all went very, very strange, didn't it? That wrist injury that he had kept him out. There was a big rush to get him ready. I remember we bought him. He'd done that little jog around the pitch against Newcastle, which was a bit weird. And then we went to Stoke, didn't we, on the Saturday, and he was rushed through to get him ready, get him on the bench, and we'll go from here. And he didn't make the bench, and then people were like, "Oh, be ready next week." And the wrist injury got worse and worse. But yeah, it didn't work out. Roberto Martinez made the purchase, £13.5 million, and brought him on against West Ham in that fateful 3-2 defeat. Came on at 2-0. And we got beat 3-2. And Ped, quite frankly, blames him for that game. But yeah, he goes. So the summer came, and it looked as though a new manager would come in. It'd be a fresh start for Umar. He'd be able to get his head down and have a go with a clean slate under Ronald Koeman. And he played just 45 minutes of our first pre-season game at the end of the training week in Austria, and that was it. Ronald Koeman had seen enough and told him he had no future at the club. Credit to Niasse, he's got his head down and went in the 23s and scored some goals. And he's made the move to Hull. And, I don't think, and surely no Evertonian would begrudge him being successful at Hull and having a good, a really good second half to the season and scoring some goals. The lad has come in, he leaves without really being given a chance. But, you've got to trust the manager's judgment on that. The manager doesn't think he's good enough. And so off he goes, and hopefully, Umar will score some goals for Hull City and make his stay there permanent and do well for them. So all the best to Umar Niasse. Ronald Koeman, just moving on from that, Ronald Koeman has done his press conference today for Manchester City on Sunday. Obviously, there was the press conference for Morgan Schneiderlin as well. And Koeman has said he'll have to, he'll decide whether to use Morgan on Sunday. Just play him. Just play him from the start, put Gareth Barry on the bench, get Schneiderlin in there, and just let him play till he's knackered, and then put Gareth Barry on, because City are quick and fast and strong in that midfield, and Baz is getting slower by the week, and I just think Schneiderlin, give everyone a boost, give the place a boost. I'd personally play him. But Ronald Koeman, just going on from that, was asked the question about more incomings, which he said, they're hoping to bring more players, and we know that. And then was asked about outgoings, and he basically said, in his true, honest Ronald Koeman self, that a lot of players were, the players know the position, they know what he wants, and they know who's getting kicked out the squad. And he said there's players in that squad that know that they have no future at Everton Football Club. Which is quite brutal. But you know what? Maybe that's what we've needed. Maybe we've needed the manager. And to be fair to the other managers, the likes of David Moyes and Roberto Martinez, we've never been in this position, have we, where we could spend money, and it looks as though we've got a good wad now to be able to go, you're not good enough anymore because we want him. And that's what we've got with Ronald Koeman. And some people like it, some people don't. I think sometimes he's probably a little bit too honest, but at least nobody can say they don't know where they stand with the man, can they? I suppose. So it's going to be interesting to see who he lets out the door. Obviously, one player, Tom Cleverley, who's moved to Watford, I spoke today about feeling like a real footballer again, going to Watford. So hopefully, I know there'll be a section of Evertonians who will say that he's never been a real footballer. I think Cleverley's done okay for us. He came on a free. He's worked hard. He's not up to the level we need, but he's a decent midfield player. I think he'd do okay for Watford. Players who may be surplus to requirements, probably Gerard Deulofeu, probably Aaron Lennon, maybe Kevin Morales, maybe Brian Oviedo. Ronald Koeman, maybe a James McCarthy, Darren Gibson. There's a few there who I think Ronald Koeman would just happily let slide out the door. Phil Jagielka maybe, but the thing with Jags is I think he'll have people after him. Maybe David Moyes, will come knocking for him. Do we just say that's it, he's done and we let him out the door, or do we have him for the bench? It's a tough one. I think if you're Jagielka, you want to fight hard and get back in that side. I think Murray's in there at the minute. I think we probably need another centre back anyway. I think a lot of people are saying we can't play Williams and Jagielka. We certainly couldn't play them in a 4-4-2, not a chance. But maybe with Holgate in there with them as the legs, I don't know. It's a tough one because I love Jags and he's been a fantastic player for Everton Football Club. But again, everyone has to move on at some time, and maybe his time's come. If he's not going to be first choice at Everton, maybe there's other clubs there. I'm quite sure there will be other clubs who are interested in him. In fact, we know that there's other clubs who are interested in him. So it's going to be an interesting few weeks, because obviously if Ronald Koeman's saying that there's a lot of players who can go out the door, that means that there's a lot of players who are going to come in the door. And we know that he wants a centre forward. We know that he's looking at another centre back. I don't think at this moment in time he's going to go for a goalkeeper, which many feel as though we need. But potentially, if it is the likes of Fraser Forster, if he wants, maybe he realises Southampton aren't going to sell him in this window, and maybe he'd leave that to the summer and just go with Stecklenberg and Joel for the rest of the season. Joel's got the shirt now. Can he keep it? Obviously out the cups now, so it's a case of trying to consolidate seventh and catch sixth. People are writing the season off. It's done and dusted now. There's 18 games to go. 18 chances to get closer to Manchester United. They were in the sixth position at the moment. Why not? Put a run together. Why not? But it's going to be interesting. I'm quite sure. I'd expect, people have asked me how many I think will come in. When I expect, I said 4 or 5, and nothing I've seen and nothing I've heard will change that. So I definitely think, we've got Luck coming in, we've got Schneiderlin in, and I can see another 3 players coming in over the next few weeks. But the earlier the better, obviously, because then on deadline day we can go and get one of those cheeky loans, like Jesse from Real Madrid or something. But just one of those cheeky little ones that become available as you get towards the deadline, towards the window shutting. And the good thing about getting them in early, and you've got the money and you can have your players in, is that there isn't that panic towards deadline from fans. Often, the clubs do what they do, but imagine if we've got our players in, we get another 3 in, and on deadline day a little opportunity pops up. You're not as fans desperate for that window. Who can we get? It's more, it'd be great if we could get in, but if we don't, we've already got a few in here, and these are making us better anyway. So it's going to be interesting over the next couple of weeks. Anyway, that's been the Daily today. Look out for the final word on Monday. Look out for mine, Ped's aftermatch reactions to Everton versus Manchester City at Goodison Park on Sunday. I've been Baz. Catch you next time on Toffee TV.